there, this is my channel Shy's Designs and I'm Cheyenne. I started this business because I wanted to stay home with my babies and make money while doing that. I'm here to breathe life back into furniture and make beautiful pieces affordable again. Let's get started. Alright, to open up this video we have a free coffee table here that I found on the side of the road on my way to the grocery store ready for trash day. I'm so excited to get started on this one because I don't think I've done an out of the garbage flip yet, and I'm trying out a new product and a new technique today. So stick around and let's see how it went. First, I stripped this bad boy because the paint job was terrible and I wanted to see what exactly I was working with underneath. I used Citri Strip Paint Stripper. I found this one works best for me and the smell isn't unpleasant or overbearing. It smells kind of like oranges and it's kind of goopy, so it's really easy to spread around and it doesn't drip off the sides. I let it sit on my piece for about 2 hours, even though it just says to check it after 30 minutes. I didn't want to have to go back and do it again and use more stripper and use more of my time. The 2 hours really did the trick. I did a test spot and it came off with no effort, so I proceeded to strip the entire surface area of this free coffee table. I used a flexible scraping tool to remove the stripper because I didn't want to damage the surface, because this piece looked way worse than the actual shape it was in, which is great news. So I knew I wouldn't have to do too much after I got this paint stripped off, so I didn't want to create any damage of my own. After stripping the paint off this entire piece, I then used afterwash and a scrub sponge to remove the paint stripper residue and deactivate the stripping process. This is messy, but luckily pretty quick. Make sure you use sturdier gloves than I did because the sponge tore right through them and I had to go through about 4 different pairs to get this job done. After scrubbing as much as I could, I took a clean microfiber towel and some non-acetone polish remover to complete the cleaning portion of this flip. When I first picked up this piece, I thought that I was going to have to do a ton of work to stabilize this thing, but when I got to looking at it after I stripped it, it looked like I just had to tighten up some screw anchors, and that made it so much more stable, and then I had to add a few that were missing, and that really made this piece so solid, and I'm so happy with how stable that made it without having to do too much to it. Then I went over the entire surface area with a hand sanding sponge to get a light sand all over this piece. I went over the entire surface area of the top with my wood filler so that I could have a nice even surface on this top because I wanted it to be in perfect condition before I started my new technique on this piece. I applied the filler and then I let it dry for about an hour before going back over it with my hand sponge sander and then my electric sander to get a nice smooth surface. The wood filling process worked great. I used that filler because it is a lot more spreadable than the wood filler that I usually use, and I am quite happy with it. Sanding this wood filler was a bit of a challenge though because it would build up on the paper and I couldn't just scrape it off or clean the paper off so that I could continue to use the paper. So I used a ton more sandpaper than I thought I would, so that was a little bit frustrating, but I have a smooth top surface now, so I'm super happy with that. After I got done sanding, I wiped down my top surface to prepare it for the stain that I was using. I used an oil-based varathane stain called Early American. I love this color, it's a medium brown and it's warm. I applied the stain so that I could get more of a natural wood tone from the surface before trying my new technique. And I wanted to give it plenty of time to dry and absorb so my technique wouldn't have any issues applying or drying either. I painted on the stain and I kept it at a pretty light coat, and I only did 1 coat and I left it overnight. I left that to dry and then I proceeded to prime my base because I was also using a new product. I used my Zinsser Ben shellac base primer to prep my surface because I didn't want to risk any bleed through with this crisp white color. I'm using all-in-one Heirloom Traditions paint called Cashmere. I'm really excited because I've never used this paint before and I'm interested to see how it applies and the finish that it gives me. This paint doesn't require any priming and it doesn't require a top coat either, so I'm interested to see how this goes on, and I'm definitely doing a primer just because I want to be on the safe side and I don't want to have to do this a second time. I have seen tons of videos of this paint being easy to apply and stress-free because you don't technically have to prime or top it, so I applied the paint with my zebra brush and a foam roller to get a streak-free finish. You guys, I'm gonna be completely honest, it took me 5 coats and a touch-up to get this surface completely covered evenly with this paint, even with the primer base that I used. I am not thrilled about that. It took a lot of time. The good thing is that I don't have to top coat it, and the finished feel of this paint is very high-end and luxurious, so the extra time and coats, it may have been worth it for the finished product that I got. I would probably use this product again. I will just try maybe a different color because white tends to need a few more coats because it doesn't have a good pigment to it. So maybe if I tried a different color, it would work out a lot better for me. We'll see next time. After applying my paint, I started on my new technique that I have been dying to try. I wanted to accomplish a faux wood look on this faux wood coffee table top. So I collected a few tools to accomplish that. I used a wood grain tool, a paintbrush that was almost as wide as the graining tool to help me make even strokes with the tool, and the oil rubbed gel stain from Heirloom Traditions to accomplish a faux wood grain look. Because I've never done this before, it was definitely trial and error, and this wood grain tool combined with the other tools that I used with it, made this such an easy and quick process. First, I applied one even line of gel stain with the paintbrush, and I went over it to make one consecutive line all the way across. Then I went over that same spot I painted with the paintbrush with the wood grain tool, and I accomplished the faux wood look almost immediately. Luckily, this gel stain takes 24 hours to cure, so it wasn't a one and done deal. I could go back over it if I didn't like the way that I did it the first time. I did this same technique all the way across the top and started at opposite ends each time I did a stroke with the wood grain tool to get a more natural look. I love how this turned out, and it's not at all what I imagined, and I'm so impressed with this product and the applications of all of these products together. Now, moving on to the drawers. I had a backup plan if the faux wood grain didn't work out, so I wanted to wait to do the drawers until I saw that finished product to see what I was going to do definitely to the drawers, because I didn't want to do anything twice. I decided with the wood grain top working out, I will keep the drawers simple and paint them with the all-in-one cashmere as well. I primed these drawers twice so that I didn't have to do more than a couple of coats, and that process worked. I did a thicker second coat of primer to get a little bit of a texture on the drawers, and then I painted over them with the cashmere all-in-one paint to finish off their look. And then I added these amazing triangle pulls. The pulls definitely added a lot more interest that I really like. I put those on one at a time, and I had to change out the screws for them because the ones sent with the pulls weren't short enough to get a tight hold on this piece. I put it all back together, and after a 12 to 24 hour cure on this wood grain, I was able to top coat it with an oil-based glossy top coat to this wood grain look. And I would call this a job well done. I can't believe this transformation. I never thought that the wood grain would look this good and be so easy to accomplish. I'm so happy with this, and I definitely will be doing it again. I can't wait to find another piece to be able to do this on, and I'm so happy with these finishes. You guys, look at this beautiful thing. Oh my gosh. Also, I wanted to point out that I went on vacation for a few weeks and I finished these 2 projects that I have posted in the past 3 weeks right before I left for vacation, so I didn't post them on my Facebook page to sell. I said in the beginning, I picked this guy up off the side of the road ready for trash day. I spent $15 on the products to flip this piece because I used a lot more sandpaper and paint than I thought I would, and I spent $5 on the pulls that I put on this little guy. I just posted this to my Facebook Marketplace and I'm excited to see what profit I get for this guy. I did post it for $200, so we'll see. Thank you so much for watching my video and coming on yet another adventure. If you enjoyed this video or happen to learn something, please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. And always comment either your kind comments or asking any questions you may have about faux wood furniture and how to make it look more realistic, and anything that you have questions about, I am here and ready to answer. I post every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. See you then.